Hello everyone, my name is Grace Clifford. I'm from Apelon Incorporated, and I'm here today to talk to you about the evolution of the National Drug File Reference terminology. The National Drug File Reference terminology is an extension of the VA National Drug File in an ontological representation. It was first conceived as part of the Enterprise Reference Terminology effort starting in 2003, in which Apelon was a contractor. VA NDF, which forms the backbone of NDF-RT, is made up of multiple database tables listing VA formulary generics, drug ingredients, classes, and interactions. NDF-RT includes 9 central drug reference hierarchies. The mechanism of action focuses on the effects of drugs on a cellular or molecular level. Physiologic effects focuses on the effects of drugs on a body system or organ level. Chemical ingredient, sometimes referred to as chemical structure, lists the ingredients of drugs in a structural classification. The chemical ingredient hierarchy is based upon the National Library of Medicine's medical subject headings, or MESH, although it does contain some NDF-RT specific divergences. There is also a disease finding hierarchy, which is derived from MESH, a pharmacokinetics hierarchy, which classifies the possible outcomes of what happens to a specific drug in the body after it is administered, the dose forms hierarchy, which contains dose form and route of administration grouping concepts derived from RX norm. The pharmaceutical preparations and drug interactions hierarchies contain the information derived from VA NDF, and the final hierarchy, which was created for the sole purpose of FDA structured product labeling indexing of broadly categorized drugs like anti-infectives, is the therapeutic categories hierarchy. The mechanism of action, physiologic effect, and chemical ingredient hierarchies were selected as standards for the Consolidated Health Informatics, or CHI initiative, in 2004. The CHI effort, mandated by the Office of Management and Budget, is a collaborative effort to increase health data interoperability and use of standards within government systems. NDF-RT has evolved quite a bit since its inception, largely in response to 2 things: the adoption of the MOA, PE, and chemical structure hierarchies as CHI standards in 2004, and the selection of NDF-RT by FDA for the indexing of pharmacologic class phrases for the Structured Product Labeling Initiative. NDF-RT is also part of the Federal Medication Terminologies Collaboration, a government initiative that seeks to improve the availability and exchange of medication information by organizing an agreed-upon suite of easily accessible standard terminologies related to drug information. FDA began providing NDF-RT with pharmacologic class phrase requests in 2006 as part of the NDF-RT for SPL project, with Apelon as the contractor to VA facilitating the change request process in NDF-RT. This resulted in a need for a more formalized and regular publication schedule, so NDF-RT began to be released monthly starting in 2007. However, the release schedule remained informal, and there was little regularity with which the externally sourced content, like the 2 MESH hierarchies and the Unified Medical Language System Concept Unique Identifiers, was updated. The NDF-RT Interagency Expert Panel, or IEP, was convened in the 2nd year of the NDF-RT for SPL project and has acted as an advisory body to the stewards of NDF-RT ever since. It's comprised of members from VA, FDA, the National Library of Medicine, and the National Cancer Institute, with occasional participation by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services and United States Pharmacopoeia. In short, stakeholders in the management and development of drug terminologies in the U.S. The IEP started meeting regularly to discuss phrase requests from FDA that needed to be represented in NDF-RT once the volume of these requests from FDA review divisions increased. These pharmacologic class phrases were then added to NDF-RT as EPCs, a separate categorization of concepts under the pharmaceutical preparations hierarchy, which allowed FDA to receive identifiers for their requested phrases and use the NDF-RT reference hierarchies to index them. At present, there are over 500 EPC concepts in NDF-RT, and requests for new ones are continually made by both FDA's Center for Drug Evaluation and Research and Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research. As the volume of EPC requests increased and FDA moved forward with the SPL effort, VA began working through Apelon with NLM to try to synchronize the content and release schedule of RX norm with that of NDF-RT. The IEP agreed it would be useful to start working with NLM to accomplish this goal so that NDF-RT content could be published in RX norm and vice versa. In 2009, NDF-RT began to be released 10 times per calendar year on the same date as NLM's publications of RX norm occurred. There are 2 combined releases which occur for the months of August and September and December and January. NDF-RT is released on the first Monday of the month or the first Tuesday if a federal holiday falls on the first Monday, to coincide with RX Norm. Content in both NDF-RT and RX Norm is synchronized each month so that the next month's release of either terminology represents the most current version of the other. Each month, NDF-RT is refreshed with current VA NDF and RX Norm content. Twice a year, roughly coinciding with the release by NLM of the UMLS Metathesaurus, NDF-RT is also programmatically updated with new mesh content and UMLS concept unique identifiers. NDF-RT is available for download as part of the FedMed Terminologies suite offered on the National Cancer Institute's Enterprise Vocabulary Services website. It is also available for viewing from the same page in the NCI Term Browser. Thank you very much for listening, and if you have any questions, feel free to email us at info@apelon.com. You can also find Apelon on Facebook and Twitter.